So welcome to the New York State Testing Program, and today we'll be looking at the 2016 Common Core English Language Arts Test, Book 2, and these are released questions. And my goal is very simple. It is to help to familiarize parents and students in a very brief way with the types of questions that they'll be faced with on this exam. So as we scroll down, we'll see a reading comprehension passage. This one is called Excerpt from Swimming with Sharks. Okay. And the passage is not very long, but sufficient enough to really make the reader or the student pay attention over a period of about, I'd say about 7 to 10 minutes or so. Now, what I'm most interested in, though, are the types of questions that students will have to answer on this fourth grade exam. So in the first part, we saw reading comprehension questions directly related to the passage. Well, in this case, you'll see different types of reading comprehension questions. For example, question 25 asks, how does paragraph 5 relate to paragraph 4? And so what is being tested here is the student's ability to follow the flow of paragraph development or the flow of thought from paragraph to paragraph in the passage. And that's a pretty sophisticated question. So instead of saying, why did Sarah feel this or why did Sarah do that, they're asking the student to really follow the flow of thought from one paragraph to the other. Question 26, again, this is a definitional question. In paragraph 7, the word croaked means that Sarah, and you'll have to go back to the passage to find what that means in its context. 27 is pretty simple, asking the student to answer a question based simply on the details of the passage. But now question 28, look at this. Which detail best shows that the stories about sharks being killers are wrong? So now the student has to go back to the reading, examine excerpts from various paragraphs, and use evidence in order to support his or her choice, the choice that he or she makes. Look at question 29. What an interesting question. How does paragraph 12 contribute to the rest of the story? And look at the choices. It shows the reason for the change in a character. It gives important details about the story setting. It gives new details about the shark's condition, or it shows why people are able to get close to sharks. This is not the type of question that students normally encounter in regular reading comprehension passages. How does the paragraph contribute? What is the purpose of this paragraph in this story? And honestly, these are the types of questions at this level that will be seen on the ACT and SAT at a high school level. So these questions are precursors of the types of questions students will have to answer at more complex levels. So you see now how the Common Core is aligning with what is to come after it in successive years of school. Now, question 31, again, is a question about paragraph structure. Which detail would be most important to include in a summary of the story? This is, again, a type of ACT question that I've seen high schools have to answer, obviously with more complex passages. But again, take a look at it. You have to be able to say, hey, this detail is the most important. If I added this detail, this would help to summarize the story. This is examining, assessing the student's ability to process information, the flow of information, and to be able to add, to enhance that information. Now, here's another passage. This one is about the gold rush, rushing west. Okay. But this time now, the student has to use two details from the article to support his response. But again, the student has to look at the article, find details, and then put those details in his or her own words. And 33 is very sophisticated. Why is the letter included in paragraph 15? Use two details from the article to support your response. So why is this in this paragraph? Again, writing becoming very important. And here's another passage, again, involving questions now that are going to be a longer response. Okay? And you're going to have to use details from the story to support your response. And here's where students really just kind of write what they want to, but ignore the criteria as listed here as to what they should include in their paragraphs. See how long this response has to be? And our students need to be able to do that and say, hey, I can write something, I can elaborate, I can expatiate, I can really write and enhance my writing. But most students will fill up 3 or 4 lines of this and that's it. Because unfortunately they haven't been taught how to expand their sentences and how to really take the details of a story and compose their own thoughts about it. This is a challenging exam, especially this section in Book 2.